Welcome to my channel and to my new video about the topic Functions and Evolution of Human Resources Management in the Unit 2.1 of IB Business Management. So here are the videos of this unit that will be coming up, and today it's going to be the first point, so Introduction and the Internal and External Influence on HR Planning. About this HR planning. HR planning aims to get or secure the right amount number of people with appropriate abilities and skills in the right jobs at the right costs. So it basically talks about the factor of the labor factor of production, and it's all about human resources, as the name already says. And the workforce plan tries to show what skills and people are needed for a particular organization in the future. So it's good to just refer to workforce plan if you explain something in your answers, as it will give the IB examiner the impression or tell the examiner that you know your terminology. So the internal and external factors influencing HR planning are: first, there's a demographic change, and it's pretty simple. It basically refers to trends and developments in the population influencing HR planning. Those could be, for example, the net migration rate, or the net birth rate, or the retirement age. Are people getting older as it is nowadays? And does that mean that the retirement age goes up? It's increasing. People are retiring when they're older, so they're working more. All this goes into account when planning, when doing HR planning. The other factor is change in labor mobility, and there are pretty much two big terminology for this one that you should know. The first one is occupational mobility. So what's occupational mobility? Occupational mobility is pretty much the extent to which workers are willing and able to switch jobs. So it talks about kind of two levels in which workers are switching jobs. One is their ability to switching jobs, and the other one is their willingness to switch jobs. So it includes both of these elements in this occupational mobility. And occupational immobility, on the other hand, means the exact opposite. It means that the workers are not really willing and not able to switch jobs. And then the other terminology you should know is geographical mobility. And that's pretty simple, as the name already tells you pretty much. It's the extent to which workers are willing and able to relocate to another geographic area for a job. So, how willing and able, financially able, for example, and how willing are the people that, for example, live in Los Angeles to leave Los Angeles for a job in, let's say, San Francisco, or let's say to the state of Pennsylvania. How willing are they to do that, and are they able to do that? And then the other kind of definition, for the more extreme definition for the geographical mobility, is international labor mobility, which basically refers to workers relocating internationally, which is obviously something that is way it's way more difficult to get to that point where international labor mobility is very high. That's why also you can see that expats, so that means that people that usually work in foreign countries are getting higher paid wages as an incentive to actually work internationally, because not many people are willing to move internationally. And then another thing that the IB added is new communications technology and how this influences HR planning. What this means is that, for example, there are multiple examples of what new communication technologies influence. For example, it will influence that flexi time, teleworking, and home working, which will also be explained in later videos if you still don't know what that is, become more attractive and accessible to workers. And this is, of course, due to the advanced technology so people can do their work better on their own computers and devices. Another thing would be that there's increased efficiency in training and developing employees, as a large number of employees can be trained at the same time quickly. For example, a webinar, think about it. The people do not have to physically go to a university or to the job location, but they can be trained online, which takes way less resources and is way simpler. Another thing would be that computerized testing systems allows to assess the understanding and progress of trainees. This is a more in-depth thing and in detail, and I don't think it's going to come up in the exams, but it's still good to know as it is written in the IB book, so it's something you should keep in your mind. Another point would be that the reduced costs of meetings and seminars due to video conferencing. It's also a bit the same as the first point, where due to this new technology, there are less costs now for all these meetings that usually have to be taken physically or used to be taken physically, now can also be taken online, as you could see with Zoom this year and last year. The last point would be that recruitment gets way easier for larger businesses through their websites and video conferencing facilities, meaning reduced costs for advertising, recruitment, and interviews. This means that because larger businesses are already known around the world, they will now have it even more easy to get employees and good employees around the world, because they can basically advertise and then talk to employees way faster, potential employees way faster around the world, and they do not have to pay for their flight to get there if they have a potential employee. But they only have to pay the flight if they're already at a second stage where they say, oh, okay, this might be actually a good employee. This might be the potential employee. Then they might pay it, but not before. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.